So, I want to share something that happened to me about 6 months ago. I live in a small town, the kind where everyone knows everyone, and things move slowly. I'd always loved books, but we didn't have a public library, just a small, beat-up building on the corner of Maple and Oak that was more of a book exchange than a library. People would leave their old books there, and others would take them. No fees, no fines, just trust. One day, I walked in looking for something new to read. It was a cloudy, grey day, and I was feeling kind of down. Life had been a little... You know how it is, deadlines piling up, personal life a mess, and you start feeling lost. As I browsed the shelves, I came across an old, worn-out book with no title on the spine. I pulled it out, and the cover read, "Stories to Save Your Soul." Intrigued, I flipped it open, and a small, handwritten note fell out. "Ot read, to whoever finds this book saved me when I was in my darkest place. I hope it finds you when you need it most. Don't give up." I paused, feeling a shiver run down my spine. It was like the note was speaking directly to me, telling me not to give up. I tucked it into my pocket and started reading the first story, right there in that little library. It was a tale about a lighthouse keeper who stayed at his post through every storm, guiding lost ships to safety. The story was simple, but there was something about it that made me feel a tiny spark of hope. I ended up sitting in that library for hours, reading every single story. Each one felt like it was meant for me, like someone had written down exactly what I needed to hear. By the time I left, the rain had started pouring outside, but I didn't feel cold anymore. I felt alive. For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope, like maybe things could get better. I took the book home with me, but before I left, I wrote a note of my own. "If you're reading this, remember, storms don't last forever. Hang in there." I tucked it into another book on the shelf, hoping it would find someone who needed it, just like I had. Fast forward to last week, my life is in a better place now. Things aren't perfect, but I've found my footing. I went back to the little library to return the book. As I placed it back on the shelf, I noticed a stack of new notes stuffed into different books. People had started leaving messages of their own, small words of encouragement, funny anecdotes, and little reminders that they weren't alone. That little library has become a haven, not just for me but for so many others. Sometimes all it takes is one small act, a note, a story, a book to change someone's life. I'm grateful for that little library and the anonymous person who left the first note. If you're reading this, thank you.